Hello, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and everybody who watches my videos. I appreciate it and encourage more viewing and comments. I always enjoy interacting with fans and friends. So I'm going to start this off right away with spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. This is a review of Star Wars The Last Jedi. It's going to have spoilers, and it's going to have me probably pissing you off and maybe deterring you from going to see the movie. So, I will say this. Is it a good movie? Yes. Is it the movie that we wanted after The Force Awakens, that was supposed to fill that legendary spot that Empire Strikes Back did? No. And I'm going to go into reasons why it is and why it isn't. So, the first thing, and this has been my issue with every franchise that Disney now holds, is their unnecessary use of humor. Right out of the gate, this movie starts with banal, sophomorish humor that for 5 minutes had me thinking I was watching Spaceballs. That's how inane it was. That's how sophomoric it was. There was no need for it. Absolutely no need for it. But it was there. And it set a tone. It set a tone for the movie that was disappointing. I sat in my chair and I cringed and grabbed the armrest going, alright, let's just get through this. This is just something that's going to be here maybe once and I'm not going to have to deal with it again. Unfortunately, it popped up numerous times throughout the movie. Many a times detracting from really serious, well-scripted scenes. A glaring one of those is we saw the pull between Adam Driver's character Kylo Ren and Rey. And there was this intense scene between the two of them. And, yay for me, Adam Driver was shirtless in it. But this fed the humor, where she cracked a joke about him. Oh, maybe you should have, clothes on for this. And it's just like, it didn't need to be there. This was a serious moment where you saw her kind of feeling this pull from the dark side. And it was something that Luke, said, there's something in you. There's something there. And it detracted so much from that and other moments in the movie that, this whole movie could have been done without a single line of humor, and it would have been a spectacular movie. But it detracted and set this tone that, for me, I couldn't take the movie serious enough. But now we're going to get to one of the bright spots, and that's the cinematics of this movie. This movie is quite possibly the most well-shot, well-staged Star Wars movie ever filmed. Even better than The Force Awakens. The camera angles, the CGI, the space battles are amazing. Amazingly well shot. Makeup, just a well shot Star Wars movie. I saw this in Dolby Atmos and everything was crisp and colorized and the muted tones where you needed it, and you weren't bombarded with 1,000 throwaway planets or things. It was great stuff. Then we're going to get on to the script. And here's where this movie feels like it was going in two directions and they could not decide where they were going to go with it. They unnecessarily closed plots and opened up new ones that did not need to be there. And this is the biggest problem with this movie. This is supposed to be the second in a trilogy. They take so many important plot elements, things that drive character conflict, like the existence of Snoke, and do away with them. Snoke gets killed in this movie. There's no explanation of who and what he actually is. You don't get the sense that he's a Sith or a Force-wielding creature or what he is. He becomes irrelevant halfway through the movie. And the way he dies is stupid. And it was one of those things, they almost pulled the Star Wars Battlefront 2 moment Because for a few minutes there, I honest to God thought they were going to take Kylo Ren and push him towards the light side of the Force. It almost made me get up out of my chair and leave. That's how disappointed I was in that moment. Was it remedied to a degree? Then you have, what was a weakness in pretty much every Star Wars movie was dialogue. And there are moments where, especially, I was hoping, and I know I wasn't going to get this out of a Disney franchise movie, but I was really hoping that they were going to take this opportunity to correctly develop a Sith character, their path towards the dark side, and not trivialize it, and not make it, just a plot device, because it's more than a plot device. It has meaning in the lore and the universe. And Adam Driver is a great actor. He is a very good actor, and he's served a script full of crappy dialogue, crappy direction, to where you don't take him seriously again. He comes off as this repugnant teenager, which we've already done with the Anakin Skywalker character. We don't need to do this again. For once, I'd like to see a more well-rounded, more complex character that has a greater reason for turning dark. For me, their reason, at least from what they revealed, isn't enough. It does not make sense to me. And then you don't get a lot of resolution with Rey. You're left with more answers, and they kind of just threw away. She's now even more of a throwaway, irrelevant character than she was in The Force Awakens, because you don't get answers. You don't get answers. And it's a bad thing, because we have one more film to go, and then that's it for these characters. So shouldn't we be developing her? Shouldn't we be getting more of an idea of, well, she's not 100% light, she's not 100% dark. Is she a gray Jedi? Since they're going to end this in 3 movies, why not go that route? Why not give us a Jedi that doesn't walk on either side, but somewhere in the middle? Which was part of the old canon. You had gray Jedis in the Old Republic, the Knights of the Old Republic. You had gray Jedis. So then we're going to go on to practical effects and CGI. We are in a digital age. I am comfortable, when it's done well, with a movie that does nothing but CGI. But when a film decides to do really great CGI, and then horrible practical costumes that are jarringly, poorly done, rigid, with no facial animations overlaying them from CGI or anything, I felt like at points I was watching a poorly funded fan film. They took serious moments and moments where you wanted to be immersed in what was going on, and you went, bam, here, have a really cheap costume, ha ha ha. And they imbued it with humor on top. It was almost like a middle finger to fans going, hey, not only are we going to make you cringe, but we're going to make you roll your eyes when you see the crappy costumes that we're going to parade in front of you. And it makes me wonder, is it from reshoots? Is it influence from Disney? Was it budget constraints? I don't understand why it's there. Next, we're going to go on to characters. There are too many characters on the light side of the story. Way too many. Many of them are irrelevant. The Under General Leia, whose name completely... She's played by Laura Dern, and she's irrelevant. She meant nothing. She meant absolutely nothing. She annoyed me with her purple hair. She annoyed me with her floaty acting. It's like she knew she was only going to be in one movie, so why really, take anything that seriously? Her conflict with Poe really didn't sell well. I mean, he's supposed to be the hotshot fighter pilot, but, when it came down to her taking over for Leia, the conflict didn't sell. It didn't feel realistic. She was supposed to be this, worn general, but she came off like a senator, like a floaty, senator, just go with the flow type person. It didn't make sense how she saved the rebellion by light jumping a rebel ship into Snoke's flagship. If that was if that was an ability, why didn't they make ships that could be piloted by droids and do that? And they could have ended this 60 years ago when the Empire rose up. It's like, there's just so many parts of this movie that feel like two people did it. Two different directors or two different script writers that, and they did a disservice to fans because 80% of what you thought were going to be plot points inside the movie from the trailers, lo and behold, are not plot points from the trailers. And the one that I really hated the most, I know I wasn't going to get this out of Disney. I know. But for the love of fucking God, the dimensions that they could have gone with having Kylo Ren actually kill his mother. They squandered it because he doesn't kill her. He doesn't kill her, and to make things worse, and here's where this is the one scene that is going to roil the crap out of everybody that sees it. The amount of hushed silence and kind of inside the theater when this scene, Leia does technically die. She's blown off the bridge of the Rebel ship by Kylo Ren's escort fighters, and she's in space. But wait. What? We can't kill her off just yet. So guess what? She uses the Force, barely conscious, uses the Force in a Superman move to sail back to the damaged ship and be rescued. It was one of the dumbest parts of the movie that just had me sitting there going, please, why? Why would you do this? They could have killed her in this movie and I would have been fine with it. I would have been absolutely fine with it. But they fucked this up. The one thing that I really wanted to see Kylo Ren struggle with. I mean, he struggled with killing his father, but not nearly enough. Not nearly enough to turn him to a dark side and make him a relevant Sith enemy character for the rest of for the remainder of this movie and the entire next movie. They failed in that. And having him legitimately kill his mother and struggle, because they seem to imply that Han Solo was a, derelict dad. But his mother was there the whole time. Up to the point where he went with Skywalker. Much to her derision from what they said. But no. And then you have other characters like Rose. I don't understand why they included this character, and the worst point is she now seems to be a love interest for Finn. So I don't know if this is supposed to fuel some side of push to the dark side for Rey and she's going to do something out of a fit of jealousy or envy. I really don't know, but it felt unnecessary, and Finn's character was not utilized nearly enough in this film, where he was a great dichotomy to Rey in The Force Awakens. He's barely in this movie. You get more Poe, who doesn't sell being a hotshot pilot as well as I would like him to, more than you get Finn. And this was where, I was kind of hoping Disney for once really would do a solid African American character in a Star Wars movie. We almost got it with Mace Windu, but then they killed him. This was our opportunity to have a very good actor. John Boyega is a great actor. And again, he's being fed a shit script, shit dialogue, and damn annoying humor. I don't understand why. So in closing, will I recommend this movie to fans? A hesitant yes. You're going to go in and there are going to be elements of this movie that you are going to enjoy. But you're going to be mad because I knew when Disney announced that they were wiping away pretty much 90% of the canon in Star Wars, what was going to happen. They are taking where Star Trek is mired in its past and it can't seem to let go of its original characters and its original premise and take risks. It's just stuck. Star Trek is stuck in this rut. It's afraid to go elsewhere. Star Wars is now taking a scorched earth approach to what is left of the Star Wars legacy. and they're killing off legendary characters. And I guess it makes sense because after the third movie, they're doing their own trilogy. They probably don't really want to be bothered having to chronically address the old characters. But, you know, if they were going to take that approach, and Lucas was obviously comfortable with this because he sold them the franchise, why even bother doing this? Why set up 3 movies that have you going through each one like a series of checklists where, okay, eliminate character 1, eliminate character 2, eliminate character 3, now they're irrelevant. I would have been much more comfortable with them starting a new franchise where you got them referred to as legends, where, you know, the stories of yore, of, you know, Luke Skywalker and his sister Leia Organa, and, you know, all of this could have been handled in a much better way. They could have just done a whole new franchise that could have spanned 8 movies, 10 movies. They could have done this much differently. But they squandered that, and what they're doing is basically kind of casually doing this to fans. Longtime fans are not going to be happy with this movie. You're not. It does not fill that iconic point that Empire did. I did not leave this movie feeling hopeful for the next movie. I did not feel like I enjoyed this movie as much as I did any Star Wars movie. For me, outside of poor scripting, Revenge of the Sith was, in my eyes, the best Star Wars movie because it took the risk of developing a Sith character and showing the dichotomy and the struggle that goes on inside that character as they get darker and darker and lose their humanity and no longer feel remorse. And you're not getting that. And maybe they're not going to put Kylo Ren to the dark side. Maybe he is going to end up with Rey. I don't know. But at this point, I'm not sure I care enough to even be that bothered by it, because I'm not. I left this movie as a long-time Star Wars fan disappointed. And it was bad. It was bad because I didn't want to feel that disappointed in this movie. I really, really had high hopes for this, and I'm not saying don't go watch it. What I am saying is your kids will enjoy it. The humor is sophomoric enough that your kids it'll be fine for your kids. But if you're somebody who grew up with Star Wars and grew up with the canon stories and the expanded universe and all the lore and all the stories that you know you're never going to see on the big screen because of Disney and because Disney wants to turn Disney into their own property, you're not going to like this movie. You're not going to like this movie. I'm sorry. Thank you.